Hello, in this video, I want to go through all the cards that I would include if I was going to build an Avatar Aang Master of Elements Commander deck. Now, the main focus of this deck is going to be able to Waterbend, Airbend, Firebend, and Earthbend in the same turn to trigger Avatar Aang transforming. Now, Avatar Aang itself already has Firebending too, so on combat, it attacks, it'll Firebend. So you've got to figure out how to Waterbend, Earthbend, and Airbend all in the same turn. So let's get into it. First up, Aang's Iceberg for 2 and a white. It's an enchantment. If flash when it enters, exile up to one other target non-land permanent until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Waterbend 3, sack this enchantment. If you do, scry 2. So, being able to Waterbend, Earthbend, Airbend all in the same turn, because Avatar already has Firebending, is important. So Waterbending 3 on enchantment and sacrifices means this lets you trigger it at least once. This is not the best way to waterbend, but it's a way to waterbend at a time that you need it to happen. You can tap 3 of your artifacts, 3 of your treasures, 3 of your clues if your deck makes them. There's plenty of clues in Avatar. You can tap those people to waterbend at the time you need waterbending to happen. Aang Airbending Master, whenever it enters, you airbend. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, you get an experience counter. So exiling, flickering, bouncing, or airbending. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 ally creature token for each experience counter you have. So if you're in an ally-based deck, this is a great card to have. And being able to airbend when it enters is good, but not fantastic. You need things that just happen without us having to spend mana on them. Aang Swift Savior. Flash Flyer 2/3. When it enters, airbend up to one other target creature or spell. There's a 3-mana way, enter the battlefield to airbend. And then Waterbend 8. Very expensive, but it's on the battlefield, and you don't have to worry about spending a card in order to Waterbend. It transforms into a 5/5 reach trample whenever it attacks. It puts a +1/+ counter each tap to creature you control. Pretty nice. Aang at the Crossroads for 2 green and a white and a blue. It's a flyer 3/3. When it enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card with mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. So it enters, it gives us something 4 or less, and 6 are riding to play. So you have a 5-mana 3/3 flyer, and then, a mana value 4 spell. And there are mana value 4 spells that will be able to enter an Earthbender, enter an Airbend, which is nice. And whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, which is super easy, it transforms into the next upkeep. It becomes a 4/4 flyer, laying creatures you control have vigilance, and at the beginning of common you turn Earthbend 2. Fantastic. Now you have a way to attack with your commander to Firebend, and just every single combat. Aang Destined Survivor, just Earthbends 2. So now you just have to worry about Waterbending and Airbending. Fantastic. Airbender Ascension, 2 mana for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, airbend up to one other target creature. Whenever a creature you control enters, put a quest counter. If your end step, if this enchantment has 4 more quest counters on it, flicker something. Exile it, put it back into play. It doesn't trigger airbending when it does that, but it does re-trigger your enter the battlefield abilities if you have any of those. But 2 mana, being able to airbend plus super on thing. Airbender's Reversal, 2 mana for an instant, destroy target attacking creature, or airbend target creature you control. 2 mana way to airbend. I think that these spells that are modal, that are either a removal spell and then also do something in your deck once, is super good. Airbending Lesson, airbend target non-land permanent, draw a card. Appa Loyal Sky Bison, 4 white for a 4/4 flyer. When it enters or attacks, choose one. Target creature you control gains fly until end of turn, or airbend another target non-land permanent control. So now you have Avatar Aang attacking with Firebending, and whenever Appa attacks, you can airbend something. Makes it super easy. I love these attack triggers that do one of the bends, one of the bending moves. It makes the deck feel a lot better, especially because it's an uncommon, and it's just like, I think, one of the best airbending cards in the deck. Appa Steadfast Guardian, 4 mana for a 3/4 flash flyer. When it enters, airbend any number of target non-land permanent you control. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 ally. So this can enter and airbend, obviously, plenty of things. But I think that its power just comes in the fact that you can use it to have a bunch of allies enter. If you have entered the battlefield ally abilities or waterbending, etc., there's some good stuff there. Arcane Second, you're playing 4 colors, gotta have Arcane Second. Avatar's Wrath, 4 mana, choose up to one target creature, then airbend all of the creatures. Until your next turn, your opponents can cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Exile Avatar's Wrath. Badger Molcom, when it enters, Earthbend 1. Target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies or is exiled, return to the battlefield tapped. The Earthbending dies whenever you tap a creature for mana, add additional green. Hunting keys your Land of War Elf effects. That includes your Earthbended creatures, even if they don't use to tap for green. It adds additional green. Bender's Water Skin. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. But it's on theme and untaps during each other player's turn, which is nice. Bummy, Eccentric Earthbender. 3 green for a 4/4. When it enters, Earthbend 1. When it attacks, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each land creature you control. Unleashed, 3 red-green, 5/4 trample. When it enters, Earthbend 4. Whenever it deals combat damage to your player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase where only land creatures can attack. An expensive way to Earthbend, but it is a decent way to Earthbend, which is nice. Chromatic Lantern, lands you control of tap, add 1 mana of a color. This is a super cheap card now. You're playing 4 colors. Being able to have your lands tap for any color is great, especially in a land-focused deck. Cycle of Renewal. Sack a land, get 2 basic land cards. It's also a lesson. Some of our cards may trigger off of lessons. Earth Rumble, 4 mana for a sorcery. Earthbend 2 when you do it. Up to 1 target creature you control fights a creature an opponent controls. And it does not have to be that same creature. So your Earthbend 2, which can trigger one of your 4 things in a turn. And you can have your commander fight something, which is not too bad. Earthbender Ascension, 2 and a green. When this enchantment enters Earthbend 2, then search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Just if we take a step back here, a 3 mana 2/2 that enters and gets a land is really good. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, put a quest counter on this enchantment. If you do, if it has 4 more quest counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains trample until end of turn. Pretty good. Earthbending Lesson, 1-time Earthbend 4. Good if you're trying to trigger all 4 of the bends in the same turn. Earthbending Student, when it enters Earthbend 2, land creature you control have vigilance. Earth Shape, 2 and a white, Earthbend 3. Then each creature you control with power lux that are equal to that land power gains hexproof and instructable inside of turn. You gain hexproof. Telling it fair. Pretty good if you have a lot of little creatures. Of course, this does not save Avatar Aang, but it saves some of your other little support creatures, which is nice. Enter the Avatar states. Until end of turn, target creature control becomes an avatar and into their types and gains flying, first strike, lifelink, and hexproof. Not a great card for this deck, but very on theme, and I wanted to include here. Fellwar Stone. You're playing 4 colors. Fellwar Stone is an untapped land and untapped mana rock that can tap for any color of a land an opponent controls could produce. You're not going to be playing against just mono black opponents. This is going to be a very good mana rock in your deck. Fire Lord Zuku. Red, white, black. 2/4 Firebending X, where X is power. Whenever you cast a spell from exile and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, plus account each creature you control. 2 thoughts here. First, our commander already firebends, so being able to firebend is not super important. But I do like how this card also synergizes with airbending, because those are spells you would cast from exile. Fist of Size. Now let's read the backside of our commander for Fist of Suns. Flying, 6/6. Spells you cast cost white, blue, black, red, green left to cast. At the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform it. If you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 +1/+1 counters on it, and deal 4 damage to each card. Fist of the Sun says you may pay white, blue, black, red, green, rather than pay the mana cost of spells that you cast. So now your spells, if your commander is transformed, are free, which is fantastic. Great Divide Guide. Each land and ally you control has tap, add 1 mana of any color. Important when you're playing 5 colors. I know I just said you're playing 4 colors, but I put black cards in the deck, but did not realize why I could do that, and it's because the backside of the commander has white, blue, black, red, and green mana symbols. Hakoda Selfless Commander, 3 and a white for a vigilance, 3/5. You may look at the top part of your library anytime. You may cast ally spells from the top of your library, and you can sacrifice your creatures you control with +0/+5 to get indestructible until end of turn. A lot of our cards are allies. So being able to have more access to cards is fantastic. And being able to give everything destructible is good too. Haru Hidden Talent. When another ally enters Earthbend 1. This is probably one of the best Earthbending cards for this deck. Because now you can have Avatar Aang attack and Firebend. Ally enter an Earthbend 1. There's an Earthbending attacker. There's a Waterbend on attacks. So this is one of the best ones just because it's something that your deck is already going to want to do. Cast something with an enter the battlefield ability that has waterbending or airbending, and it triggers Haru, which is very nice. Heroic Intervention. green 1, permanent 2 control, green hexproof, and indestructible in turn. We are a critical mass deck. We are trying to build up multiple effects to be able to do 4 different things that are all from the same set. So it's going to be a little clunky, and being able to protect our stuff is going to be very important. Ira Grand Lotus, 3 green, blue, red for a 5/5 firebending 2. During your turn, each non-less than instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. During your turn, each less than card in your graveyard has flashback 1. Being able to firebend off this is nice, because technically this could attack and even cast Avatar Aang after post-combat, but being able to re-get our lessons, our protection spells, our ramp spells are important in a 5-color deck. It'll quench you if you have a lesson and 1 to counter spell. Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. It's a land that taps for colors or adds 1 mana of any color. Only cast an ally source or activate ability of an ally source. 5 tap, make an ally. Most of our cards are allies, like Katara Bending Prodigy. It's an ally. 2 in blue for a 2/3 at the beginning of your end step. If it taps, 20++ counter on her. Firebend, Waterbend 6, draw a card, sorry. And of course, to pay a Waterbend cost, you could tap artifacts and creatures to help. Each one pays for 1. This is a decent waterbending thing, just because this can just be in play and happen repeatedly, turn after turn. But being able to do this for 6 mana is asking a lot. Now, there are a lot of 1/1 allies our deck is making that could help pay that waterbending cost, but it's still a little suspicious. Katara Water Tribes Hope. 2 white, blue, 3/3 vigilance. When it enters, make a 1/1 waterbend X. GG control at big power toughness XX its long turn. This is a cheap way to waterbend. Now, it can't be 0, but it could be 1. So you can give everything, make everything a 1/1 for 1 mana. Just tap Katara after its attack, because it's vigilance. And now you've waterbend in a turn. You attack, so you have firebend. Now you have to worry about other things, which is pretty nice, I think. Katara Waterbending Master. 1 a blue for a 1/3. When you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter whenever it attacks. You may draw a card for each experience counter you have. If you do, draw a card. Doesn't support our idea of being able to waterbend, earthbend, firebend, and airbend, but still feels like a very strong card. It's an ally, and it's very much on theme. Katara the Fieldless, 1 of each Bamps. That's a green, a white, and a blue for a 3/3. If a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers additional time. We have a ton of triggered abilities in our deck, and this is going to be a good card here. Mei and Zoku, I think it's Mei. 1 white, 1 a blue, a black, and a red for a 3/5 firebending. 3 you may cast ally spells and artifact spells as though they have flash. Very fun. Moon and Mist, transform all humans. Avatar Aang is a human, so you can transform it, and you have plenty of other transforming cards that you can do it too. Being able to prevent combat damage from werewolves and wolves is flavor text on this card, but being able to pay 2 mana, flip our commander, and then unflip it, you know, gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 plus and plus counters on it, and he does 4 damage on it is very good. Sokka, Tenuous Tactician, 1 blue, red, white for a 3/3 menace. Prowess. Other allies you control have menace and prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a plus and create a 1/1, white ally creature token. We have plenty of lessons we're going to want to cast. Ira cares about lessons, you know. The very next card is a sorcery. We have Swiftfoot Boot coming up next, and the next 3 cards are actually sagas. Those are all non-creature spells. That would give all of our spells menace. That would give all of our stuff prowess. They already have menace. We go to the next card, so I stop fumbling on that one. Spirit Water Revival, 1 blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may pay Waterbend 6. Draw 2 cards. If this spell's additional cost is paid, it sends shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw 7 cards, you have no max hand size for the rest of the game, exile it. It's a non-creature spell with triggers with some of our stuff. But being able to Waterbend on this is very nice. No max hand size is also nice. Drawing 4 cards off of Aang, you know, every other turn is going to be great if you could continue to trigger it. Being able to shuffle your entire hand away and draw a new hand of 7 is also going to be nice for triggering our enter the battlefield. You need to cast something in order to get waterbend. You need to cast something in order to get airbend. This can make your deck as dependent on those, but help you get to those. Swiftfoot Boots, being able to give our commander hexproof or haste, being able to use that firebending immediately, being able to use it attacking airbending trigger immediately is great. The Legend of Koshai, 4 green, draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. On the second turn, Earthbend X, for X is the number of cards in your hand. That land becomes an island of both their types. That's really good, because that just happens for free that turn. So you have to pay the 6 to the previous turn. But then on that turn, you Earthbend 6X for free. Then you Firebend on attacking with our commander. In that turn, you just have to worry about waterbending and airbending. It transforms into a legendary creature avatar. Lands you control have trample and hexproof. Tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So a 4/4, a 6/6, maybe some big land creatures. This is a 5/5 by itself. The Legend of Roku. 2 red. Exile top 2 cards of the library. Until the end of your next turn, you play those cards. Add 1 mana of any color. It transforms into a 4/4 firebending 4. You can pay a mana into it to create a 4/4 dragon creature tripping flying and firebending 4. This is not my favorite legend saga for this deck, because firebending is something our commander already does. I'm sure everybody said that a ton. It's also a little clunky. 4 mana to get 3 cards, add 1 mana of any color. Kind of feels like you're trying to splash something, but you're all 5 colors. And then I guess there is a good way to pay 8 to finish out the game, you know. So that could be good. Plus firebending 4. Dragon's nice. The Legend of Yang Chain. Hopefully I said that right. 3 white. Starting with you, each player chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 greater from 1 permanent to your opponent's control. Exile them. You may have target opponent draw 3 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. And it turns into a flying legendary creature avatar. Whenever you cast your second spell, you start an airbend up to 1 other target non-land permanent. This is a free way to airbend if you have the ability to cast 2 spells in a turn. So maybe 1 2-mana lesson and 1 3-mana card that enters. But I also like the fact that this is a non-creature spell. And I like the fact that that first ability is very fine. Of just each player chooses chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 or greater, so it can't be lands. And exile those permanents, and they don't come back. You're just permanently removing 4 things from the board, which is very nice. Technically, I guess you guys could choose the same permanents, but that just means you're not playing the table, right? If there's only 1 permanent and all 4 of you choose it, that's kind of wasteful. Toph, Airbending Master. 3 and a green for a 2/4 landfall. When a land you control enters, you can make experience counter. Whenever you attack, Earthbend X, where X is the number of experience counters you have. So now you have an on-attack trigger for Earthbending, with an on-attack trigger for Firebending, and there's already on-attack triggers for Waterbending and Airbending in the deck. Toph, Airbending Master is another one of those great Airbending cards. Toph, the first Metal Bender, is 2, 1 red, green, white. Non-token artifacts you control and lands into their types. Usually that's a very exciting ability, but I care about at the beginning of your end step Earthbend 2. Avatar Aang checks constantly throughout the turn, doesn't like have a trigger that says beginning of your end step or beginning of combat, check to see if you transform it. So being able to have a free way, no mana spent on that turn to Earthbend means that it'll trigger Avatar A if in that turn you've already attacked with it, and also Waterbend and Airbends. Water Whip, blue, at the additional cost to cast a spell, Waterbend 5. Return up to 2 target creatures on his hands, draw 2 cards. This is a way to waterbend while drawing more cards. Waterbending Ascension, 1 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on this enchantment. Then if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, draw a card. Waterbend 4, target feature can be blocked this turn. That's great. Only 4 mana and being able to do it at any point in the turn is great. If you did a post-combat, it's a way to just repeatedly waterbend, which is nice. Waterbending Lesson, draw 3 cards and discard card unless you waterbend 2. You're playing 5 colors, you're going to want to draw a lot of cards. As soon as they destroy one of your airbending things, you're going to want to draw into your next airbending card. So being able to draw a ton of cards is great. White Lotus Tile. 4 colorless from Artifact. It enters tapped, add X mana of any one color, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have the creature type in common. And it's all going to be allies. You're going to have 3 allies, 4 allies in play most of the time, and it's only going to go up from there. You, the Moon Spirit, very interesting card. I have a Commander Decklist video in my YouTube channel if you want to go watch it. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 Fine Vigilance, Waterbend 5. Tap, you may cast a non-creature spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So you can get nice big things, but it's a way to repeatedly trigger Waterbend. Zoku Exiled Prince, 3 and a red for a 4/3 Firebending 3. Whenever this creature attacks, you add red. This mana lasts until end of combat. And then 3 mana, she's a Firebending. You can exile top card of your library and play it. Includes land, which is nice. Zoku Firebending Master. I have all of the masters in the deck. 1 and a red for a 2/2 first strike. Firebending X, where X is the number of experience counters you have. Whenever you cast a spell during combat, you get an experience counter. You're not really going to be casting that many spells during combat, I don't think. But being able to have another Firebending card is nice. Bay Scene Seat. Land, it enters tap because you control a basic land. It does not have to be a basic force. It can be any basic land, and I'm sure you're going to have like a couple basics. Tap out a green, 3 mana tap, Earthbend 2. Actually, it only is a sorcery. Being able to Earthbend without expending any cards is fantastic. Being able to Earthbend on a land, it's a little expensive. It costs 4 mana. You're still spending mana as if you're going to cast something, but it's good. It's got to be Earthbending in the lands now, which is nice. Exotic Orchard, taps to add 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls could produce. I bring this up because you're playing a 5-color deck. I said 4-color before. I was wrong. 5-color deck. This is an untapped land. As long as you're not like the first player, this land is insane. And it's super budget, super good. You should be playing this in more of your decks. I play this in any of my decks that are 3 colors. And honestly, I play this in my decks that aren't green. So I probably have an Exotic Orchard in my Demir nil deck. Because at a minimum, you're going to be playing against a player that's blue or a player that's black. The chances of you not are so slim. This is a great card. Fire Nation Palace. And I just tap into control basic land. 2 mana, trick creature repel gains firebending 4. Being able to have firebending on land is important. Path to Ancestry. Taps to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And most of your cards are allies. You can get that free scry on. And Reliquary Tower. I think you're going to be able to draw a decent amount of cards if your deck really starts churning. Especially 4 cards with Avatar, the Aang, which is great. So those are all the cards that I would include if I was going to build an Avatar Aang Folks, that card, waterbending, earthbending, firebending, airbending. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.